Okay, today is finally the day, apparently. The day we have all been waiting for many months. Vikings are going to release Dalvin Cook. It was reported that unless at the last moment they get a, a trade offer. Well, they're not going to get a trade offer because everyone knows you're going to release him. Which everyone has pretty much known all summer. We're not in summer yet, but all off season. Because everyone knew it was coming. That's why there were some reports that popped up, I think last week maybe, that a couple teams might be bidding against each other to get Dalvin Cook. Well, no, they weren't going to do that. They might bid against each other now when he's on the open market, but they were not going to be bidding against each other to make a trade. You know, the best case is that we could have gotten would have been something like the Zadarius Smith trade, where we basically just slightly got like a little bit of improvement in draft capital, and we probably would have had to eat more of the salary too. So we're getting what, 9 million in savings on the Cook move, and they're still going to be paying. They're going to be paying a little bit. I think like a couple million, but. Yeah, so this was pretty much expected. It was very much expected after they re-signed Madison, because nobody thought they were going to re-sign Madison, but we did. So it's going to be Madison, Ty Chandler, who I had a lot of hope for last year. He didn't get too much of a chance to play. Dwayne McBride, who he drafted in, I believe, the 7th round this year. You know, early buzz on him is that he could be steal of the draft. And then Kane Wong, who might be the odd man out with some of the stuff they're doing with kick returns for this year, kind of devaluing that even more. Yeah, so Cook out. What are we going to do with that money? Is always the question. Just like when we get rid of Zadarius Smith. There's also some rumors, again, swirling about Danielle Hunter, that maybe there's going to be some sort of trade made there. I would hope not. I would hope maybe that we could work something out with him. It could be risky to sign what is he, like 29, 30 years old? Which is funny for me to talk about being old, but sign him to a longer thing, but maybe some of that money goes to that. Maybe everyone knows the extensions that are coming. JJ's got the extension coming at some point. T.J. Hawkinson's going to get extended. Christian Darrisaw's going to get extended, or you just save the money and you hold it over for the future. We'll see if that's what they do. I think it makes all the sense in the world to kind of use some of this savings, because we've still got like. Now we got 9 million. We have like something like 18 million, and we signed all our draft picks, so we don't have to worry about that. I suppose there's still free agents out there that we could take a look at for certain things, but I don't think any of those are going to cost you a lot. But yeah, I think it makes all the sense in the world to kind of use some of that cap stuff now to kind of maybe front load some of those big extensions we got coming up, because JJ is going to be making a lot of money. So as far as Cook leaving, what's his Vikings legacy? I mean, I'm surprised the number of people I've seen like good riddance. All he did was fumble. Like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, he did. Every back fumbles once in a while. I don't know where this thing is suddenly that like he was just a fumble machine, but he had injuries. Obviously, 2017 we lost him to injury, and then he got banged up various other times. But so I guess you can't call him durable, but he was very good when he was on the field. For I think, was he like the 3rd leading rusher in Vikings history? Like he had a really good run with the Vikings, and I don't wish him ill wherever he ends up. Unless he signs with the Jets, because I'm rooting for the Jets to be a crash and burn failure this year. But I think he was a good draft pick. I think he had a good career. The one thing you maybe look back on and regret is should we have even bothered with the extension in I believe 2020? I think it was right before the 2020 season, because that kind of got him in the position they were in now, where it's like you've got this running back who's, you know, old in running back terms and has some injury history, and he's expensive, which means you can't really, you know, it's hard to trade him if you want to. You know, I mean, obviously that was done by a previous regime. I'm sure Kwesi would not have signed Dalvin Cook to that extension. Obviously, that was a Rick Spielman thing. He was big on signing players to extensions. I agreed with a lot of them, and a lot of them didn't really work out. Hard to say on the Dalvin one whether or not it worked out. I mean, he was still a very productive player, but you know, that's the way the league works these days. Is you don't pay running backs, you know, or you very, very rarely do. And you know, this was a guy who, you know, was productive, but maybe if the amount he was getting paid was not worth it, and that's obviously what they thought. Like, I think they would have kept him. He didn't want to take a pay cut from what he was due to get paid. We'll see if he even gets. I mean, we don't know exactly what the pay cut was that the Vikings were going for, but we'll see if he even gets that on the open market. I mean, so he'll get signed. He'll be signed by somebody very soon, probably by the end of the week. You know, and he'll probably play pretty well for whoever he ends up signing with. But you know, maybe he is just ready to move on himself. You know, he's a Southern guy. Maybe he just wants to go. Maybe Miami. That's been talked about a lot. Maybe he just wants to move on and play the rest of his career in the South and not have to play in cold weather and stuff like that. But you know, I have no ill feelings towards Dalvin Cook. I think he had a good run here. I think he was a good player, durable player. You know, not durable in the sense that like he played every game, but I mean, you know, he was able to, you know, play through some stuff too. And he had a lot of splash plays. Had some big plays last year. Even just, you know, even as a declining player, he had the big touchdown against Buffalo. That kind of kickstarted that comeback. He had the big touchdown on the screen against the Colts that set him up to tie that game. I mean, a few others, like, you know, kind of bugged me that over time, like, you know, it seemed like he was always getting tripped up. He was always, something about it was always, he was always getting tripped up right before he could break the big play. But you know, they're obviously, you know, Kwesi obviously believes in the new modern philosophy that you do not pay running backs big money, because this is going to be very much a running back by committee. You know, we signed Madison back, but not for a lot of money, and you know, we've got some other young guys, and you know, again, you can always find running backs. That's what they say. You know, maybe the top guys still, you know, have value. I think there was like the Falcons took a running back, I think, in the first round this year. But anyway, I'm rambling. So Dalvin, thanks for the memories, and what was it, 6-7 good years. Ring of Honor, that's debatable. You could make a case that he's Ring of Honor worthy. I'm not sure if there's any other guys who are ahead of him, but anyway, so that's the news. We'll see if there's something. We'll see if something happens with Danielle Hunter. I hope not. I hope we keep him. Other than that, it's where we are in the dead zone, because it is early June. We are still almost 2 months away from camp, and there's not a lot else going on out there. So we might be seeing you again at the end of the summer.